In January 2009, in the village of Puttaparthi, India, I was sitting on the ground among 10,000 people. Everyone around me was silent. You could have heard a pin drop. When an 82-year-old man entered the hall in a wheelchair, the entire crowd stood up. That man slowly made his way down the aisle. He handed letters to some people, simply looked at others. Then, it was my turn. He stopped. He looked into my eyes. He placed his hand on my head and said in a very soft voice, "You are free now, my child. Go home." From that moment on, the drug addiction that had been devouring me for 15 years disappeared completely. I don't know how it happened, but today I have been clean for 15 years. I'm going to tell you how I got to that point. But I warn you, the story starts in a very dark place. My name is Michael Torres. I'm 41 years old and I live in Toronto, Canada. The story I'm about to tell you is not easy for me, because I'm going to share the darkest, most shameful period of my life. But maybe what I went through can give hope to someone who is living in a similar hell right now. For 15 years, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. Cocaine, OxyContin, fentanyl. I used everything. I lost my career. I lost my family. I lost my home. I lived on the streets. I attempted suicide twice. But today, if I'm able to tell this story, it's because in 2009, in a small village in India, I met an old man named Sai Baba, and that encounter changed my life forever. Now, some of you might be thinking, this is impossible. This is nonsense. I would have thought the same as you. I was an atheist. I never believed in anything spiritual. But what I'm about to share with you is 100% true. Every single word happened. Are you ready? Because this story will make you cry, and it will give you hope. In 1994, I graduated from the University of Toronto with a degree in business. My family was overjoyed. My mother, Maria, and my father, Carlos, had both immigrated from Mexico, and I was the first in the family to graduate from university. It meant the world to them. I started my first job on Bay Street, Toronto's financial hub, like Canada's version of Wall Street. I worked at a company called Richardson Financial Group as a client advisor. The salary was good and my career prospects looked bright. In 1998, I met Melissa. She also worked in finance as an investment banker. She was smart, beautiful, ambitious. It wasn't love at first sight, but over time we grew close. We were both career-driven, determined to make money, and eager to succeed. In 2002, we got married. The wedding was perfect. 200 guests at the Four Seasons Hotel. My mother cried tears of joy. My father said in Spanish, "Mira, mijo, you are my pride." In 2004, our daughter Emma was born, our first child. When I held her in my arms for the first time, I cried. I thought, this tiny human is my daughter. It's my duty to protect her. In 2007, our son Lucas was born, my boy. Now we had the perfect family, a beautiful house in Lincoln Park, 2 cars, vacations every year. From the outside, it looked like the American dream, but no one could see what was happening inside. The stress at work was mounting. The 2008 financial crisis was looming, and the markets were going wild. Clients were panicking, and I was working 10 hours a day. By the time I came home, I was exhausted and irritable. One day at the office, my boss came over. "Michael, we have a client event this weekend. Important people will be there. I want you to come." That night, I went to the event. It was in a luxurious lounge. Clients were drinking, laughing, enjoying themselves. At one point, someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Michael, want to relax a little?" He pulled a small packet out of his pocket. Cocaine. "No, thank you, I don't use," I said. "Come on, don't be like that. Everyone's doing it here. Just a little, to relax." That night I said no, but a week later, at another event, I said, yes. It was my first time. Just one line. But that night I felt powerful, confident. My speech flowed effortlessly. My energy was sky high. This isn't a bad thing, I thought. Everyone's doing it anyway. But here's where the deception begins. What starts as just once slowly becomes every weekend, then every day, then every hour. By 2005, I was only using on weekends. By 2006, every day. By 2007, I wasn't controlling it anymore. It was controlling me. Melissa was the first to notice. "Michael, you've changed," she said one night. "You're always angry, always tired." "What's going on?" "Nothing," I said. "Just work, stress." But she didn't believe me. One day she found cocaine in the bathroom. "What is this, Michael?" she shouted. "Are there drugs in our house?" "I'll quit," I told her. "I promise." But I couldn't, because by then, I wasn't using it for pleasure anymore. I was using it just to feel normal. Without it, I felt depressed, drained, empty. Withdrawal had begun. In 2008, I started something even worse. OxyContin, a prescription painkiller, but highly addictive. A friend had given it to me. "It's safer than cocaine," he said. Liar. By then, I was using every single day. My first thought when I woke up was to use. Before work, during lunch breaks, after work, every moment. Emma was 4 at the time. One day she asked me, "Daddy, why are you always in the bathroom?" What could I tell her? Because your father is an addict and he's destroying his life? My stomach hurts, sweetheart, I said. I was lying to my own daughter. Melissa no longer slept in the same room with me. "You're sick, Michael. Either you get help or I'm taking the kids and leaving," she said. "Okay, I'll go," I replied. And I did. 1 week in a detox program, but I didn't take it seriously. I only went to shut Melissa up. A week later, I started again. In November 2008 came the worst day. I had an important client meeting. I'd already used that morning, but it wasn't enough. I used again before the meeting. Too much. At the meeting, I was like a drunk man. My speech was slurred. I was getting the numbers wrong. The client noticed. My boss noticed. The next day, I was called into the office. "Michael, we can't continue working with you. You're being terminated." When I got home that day, Melissa was at the door with her bags packed. "I'm leaving, Michael. I'm taking the kids. I gave you chances, but you didn't care. I'm done." "No, please," I begged. "I'll change, I promise." "How many times have you promised, Michael? How many times have you said last time? I don't believe you anymore." As she put Emma and Lucas into the car, Emma was crying. "Isn't Daddy coming?" she asked. "No, sweetheart. Daddy's staying here," Melissa said. That night, alone in the house, I cried like a madman. And what did I do? I used even more, because I wanted to escape the pain. The beginning of 2009 was the darkest period of my life. I had no job, no family, no home. My savings were disappearing quickly because I was spending all my money on drugs. In March, I was evicted. I hadn't paid the rent. They put all my belongings out on the street. The first night I slept on a friend's couch. The second night, at another friend's place. On the third night, no one would take me in anymore. Everyone already knew what condition I was in. That night, I slept in a park. In April, Toronto is still bitterly cold. I was freezing, but because I was high, I barely felt it. Days went by. I started staying at a shelter, Seton House, Toronto's largest homeless shelter. Every night, 300 people slept there. The smell, the noise, the filth. But I had no other option. My mother called me once. "Mijo, what happened to you? Why did you do this?" "I don't know, Mom. I said, crying. I don't know. Come home. Let me help you. No, Mom. You shouldn't see me like this. I hung up. After that day, I never called again. I was too ashamed. In May, I attempted suicide for the first time by Lake Ontario at midnight. I had a bottle of pills in my pocket, OxyContin, Xanax, everything mixed together. I swallowed them all and waited, but someone found me, a police officer on patrol. They took me to the hospital and pumped my stomach. When I woke up, a psychiatrist was sitting beside me. Michael, you're lucky. If we had been an hour later, you would have died. Maybe I should have died, I whispered. No, you have to live, because this isn't the end of your story yet. Every story has a turning point. At the time, I didn't believe it, but they were right. After leaving the hospital, I spent another 2 weeks wandering the streets. By then I was very thin. My hair had grown long. My beard was a mess. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself anymore. One day, while sitting on Yonge Street begging, someone approached me. She was a social worker. Hello, my name is Karen. I want to help you. No one can help me, I said. That's your decision, but I can offer you an opportunity. There's a rehabilitation center called Hope House. It's government funded, free of charge. If you agree, I can enroll you. I've tried before. It didn't work. This time could be different, but you have to be ready. That day, I agreed, because by then, I had nothing left to lose. In June 2009, I entered Hope House. It was a small building in Scarborough, on the east side of Toronto. It had room for about 30 people. On the first day, they explained the rules. No phone, no visitors, no going outside. Only treatment, therapy, recovery. The first week was hell. Detox. It's indescribable. My whole body was shaking. I was drenched in sweat, vomiting, hallucinating. Nurse Elizabeth was very patient. I know this is hard, Michael, but it will pass. The first week is the toughest. After that, it gets better. In the second week, I started to stabilize a little. I wasn't vomiting anymore, but I was still very weak. I began attending group therapy sessions. There were about 12 of us there, different ages, different backgrounds, but one thing in common: addiction. In the first group session, everyone introduced themselves. My name is Sarah, I'm an alcoholic. My name is James, I'm addicted to cocaine. When it was my turn, I said, my name is Michael. I'm addicted to everything. Everyone laughed. An aching, bitter laugh. In the third week, I started individual therapy. My therapist was Dr. Anjali Patel, an Indian woman in her 40s, calm, wise, and grounded. In our first session, she asked me a very simple question. Michael, why do you use? I don't know, I said. No, you do know. You just don't want to say it. I stayed silent for a long time. Then I started to cry. Real tears, for the first time in years. I miss my kids, I said. Emma's birthday was last month. I didn't even get her a gift. I didn't even call. Lucas had a school play last year. I didn't go. I'm a monster. I'm a terrible father. Dr. Anjali held my hand. Michael, you are not a monster. You are sick, but you can get better. How? I've been addicted for 15 years. How can I get better? The first step is forgiveness. You must forgive yourself. How can I forgive myself? I've ruined my life because right now you're living in the past. But you are here, today. And starting today, you can begin again. That conversation shifted something inside me. For the first time in years, I felt hope. In the fourth week, Dr. Anjali made a different suggestion. Michael, on Saturday mornings we have a meditation group here. Would you like to join? Meditation? Like yoga or something? Similar, but more of a spiritual practice. based on the Sai Baba tradition. Who's Sai Baba? He's a guru from India. He has millions of followers around the world, a very wise man. His teachings are about love, peace, and self-realization. I don't believe in religion, I said. This isn't religion. This is spirituality. They're different. Religion is rules. Spirituality is experience. I don't know. It sounds strange to me. Just try once. If you don't like it, you don't have to come again. But maybe it will do you good. That Saturday morning I went, mostly because I had nothing else to do. It was a small room. 15 people sat cross-legged on cushions on the floor. On the wall hung a large photo of an old man with a flowing orange robe and a head full of curly hair. Dr. Anjali introduced me. Friends, this is Michael. It's his first time joining our bhajan group. Everyone said in unison, Sai Ram. I didn't know what it meant. An elderly Indian woman explained, Sai Ram is a greeting, a way of honoring Sai Baba. You can say it too awkwardly, I said. Sai Ram. Then the music began. Harmonium, tabla, a melodic rhythm, and people started singing in Hindi. I didn't understand a word, but the melody was beautiful. The first bhajan, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram. They repeated it again and again. I just listened. But something strange happened. As the music continued, something inside me began to soften. It felt as though a knot that had been stuck in my heart for years was slowly loosening. The second bhajan, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai, Jai Ram. The third bhajan, Prema Mudita Mana Se Kaho, Ram Ram Ram. After 30 minutes, the music stopped. Everyone sat in silence and meditated for 10 minutes. I closed my eyes too. In that silence, for the first time in years, I felt true peace. My mind wasn't racing. My heart felt calm. After the meditation, Dr. Anjali handed me a small packet. This is a gift for you. When I opened it, I saw a gray powder, like ash. This is Vibhuti, sacred ash, a special blessing symbol from Sai Baba. Put it on your forehead. I looked at it skeptically. Isn't this just ash? For us, it is much more, but you don't have to believe. Just try. I rubbed it on my forehead. At that moment, something very strange happened. I felt an energy like electricity move through my whole body. Warmth, comfort, peace. My heartbeat slowed down. What do you feel? Dr. Anjali asked. I don't know. Peace? Maybe? It feels weird. That night, as I lay in my room, for the first time my desire to use drugs had diminished. For the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully. By September 2009, I had spent 3 months at Hope House. I was doing much better. I had gained weight, I was sleeping regularly, and my cravings for drugs had decreased significantly. Every Saturday I joined the bhajan group. By then, I had memorized some of the songs. Even though I didn't know the meaning of the words, I could sing along with the melody. One Saturday after the session, Dr. Anjali made me a surprising offer. Michael, I want to talk to you. Something special. We went into her office. She looked serious. Michael, you've made incredible progress here. I'm very proud of you. But now, you need to make a decision. What kind of decision? In November, I'm going to India, to Puttaparthi, to Sai Baba's ashram. I go every year for 2 weeks, and I want to invite you to come with me. I was stunned. India? Me? Yes, because I think you're ready. You've worked hard here, but for true transformation, you need a deeper experience. And Sai Baba's presence, the energy of the ashram, it could do you a lot of good. But I don't have any money. How could I possibly go? Hope House has a sponsor program. In your situation, they can provide financial assistance. Plane ticket, visa, everything can be arranged if you want it. I thought about it for a long time. India. I had never traveled that far, and going to a guru's ashram, it still felt strange. I don't know, Dr. Anjali. I'm still very skeptical about all this spiritual stuff. I know, Michael. But look, you have nothing to lose. Worst case, you'll spend 2 weeks in India as a kind of retreat. Best case, your life could completely change. What would we do there? We'll go to darshan. Darshan means seeing Sai Baba, being in his presence. Twice a day, morning and evening. We'll sing bhajans. We'll meditate. And maybe, if you're lucky, Sai Baba might even speak to you. Why would he speak to me? I'm not important. For Sai Baba, everyone is important. He doesn't look at whether someone is rich or famous. He looks into every heart. That night I thought long and hard. The next day, I gave Dr. Anjali my answer. All right, I'll go. November 25th, 2008, Toronto Pearson Airport. It was the first time in my life I had ever used a passport. The first time I was leaving the country. I traveled with Dr. Anjali, Toronto, Frankfurt, Bangalore, a total of 20 hours. It was a long journey, but I was excited. When we landed in Bangalore, the first shock hit me. The heat. It was November, yet it was 35 degrees, and the crowds, the noise, the smells, people everywhere. When we came out of the airport, a driver was waiting for us. I don't remember his name, but he had a big smile. Sai Ram, he said to us. Sai Ram, we replied. The drive from Bangalore to Puttaparthi was 3 hours. Along the way, I watched India through the window. Poor villages, dusty roads, cows walking in traffic, chaos everywhere. It was a completely different world. Puttaparthi is just a small village, Dr. Anjali explained. Back in the 1940s, there were only a few houses. But since Sai Baba was born there, everything changed. Now millions of people come every year. He's that famous? I asked. Yes, he has maybe 30 to 40 million followers worldwide. In India, he's deeply respected. Even some prime ministers are his devotees. By 4 p.m., we arrived in Puttaparthi. My first impression? Peace. The village was so quiet, so clean. It was nothing like the chaos of the big cities. At the entrance of the ashram, there was security. They checked everything. No phones, no cameras, no bags. Nothing was allowed inside. Why? I asked. Because the ashram is a sacred space. Technology creates distraction. People should come here only for spiritual practice. We went to the accommodation office. The rooms were very simple. I was placed in the men's dormitory, 20 people in one room, small beds, shared toilets and showers. Very basic, I said to Dr. Anjali. Yes, she replied. This isn't a luxury hotel. This is a spiritual retreat. Simple living, high thinking. That evening, we walked around the ashram. It was huge. Sai Kulwant Hall, the main darshan hall, could hold 20,000 people. There was a bhajan mandir, canteens, a hospital, a school, even a museum. It was like a small city. All of this was built by Sai Baba, Dr. Anjali told me. The hospital is free. The school is free. The food is very cheap. Everything is service. How is it all financed? I asked. Donations. Millions of devotees worldwide support it. But Sai Baba himself lives very simply. No luxury. That night, as I tried to sleep in the men's dormitory, I realized there were people from 20 different nations around me. Indians, Americans, Italians, Japanese, Africans, all here for the same reason. Sai Baba. November 26th, 2009, 4:30 a.m. The alarm rang. It was so early, but everyone was already getting up. Why so early? I asked, still in bed. The elderly Indian man next to me explained. We must line up for darshan. If you come early, you'll get a good place and sit closer to Sai Baba. I got dressed. There was a dress code in the ashram, long pants and a shirt for men, no shorts, no sleeveless shirts. At 5 a.m., I went to the front of Sai Kulwant Hall. Hundreds of people were already in line. Some had been waiting since 3 a.m. Are these people crazy? I thought. But then I noticed the expressions on their faces. Peace, excitement, devotion. At 6 o'clock, the doors opened. Everyone entered quietly. No running, no talking. Absolute silence. Inside the hall was breathtaking. A massive marble floor, a large stage in the center, columns all around, the ceiling towering above, and thousands of people sitting silently on the ground. Men sat on one side, women on the other. Everyone sat cross-legged. I sat a bit farther back in the middle. Dr. Anjali was on the women's side. I couldn't see her. At 6:30, Vedic chanting began. Young students recited prayers in Sanskrit. It was melodic, powerful. The entire hall vibrated with the sound. Then the bhajans started. Familiar melodies. The same ones I had learned in Toronto, but here they were so much more powerful. Because thousands of people were singing together. Around 7:30 there was movement in the hall. Everyone stood up. I stood too. In the distance a wheelchair was coming, and sitting in it, a frail old man in an orange robe with thick curly hair. Sai Baba. When I first saw him, I was surprised. He was small and looked very old. He was 82 at the time, but on his face was a very special expression. Peace, love, wisdom. The wheelchair slowly moved through the hall, pushed by two young men. Sai Baba looked from side to side, making eye contact with some people. Some devotees reached out with letters. He took some, but not others. I had no idea what the criteria were. He was too far away for me to see him clearly, but I could feel his presence. The energy in the entire hall was different. After about 15 minutes, the wheelchair reached the stage. Sai Baba sat there and looked at the people. He didn't say a word. He just looked. That gaze, I can't describe it. It felt as though he was looking at the whole hall at once, yet at the same time, as if he was seeing each person individually. Then, the bhajans continued for another 30 minutes. Sai Baba sat there, sometimes tapping his hands to the beat. When the singing ended, the wheelchair turned back, and Sai Baba left. The first darshan was over. Outside, Dr. Anjali was waiting for me. Well, how was it? I don't know. Different. Very powerful. The first day is always like that. But just wait. We have many more darshans ahead. During the first week, I went to 2 darshans every day, morning and evening. And with each darshan, I managed to sit a little closer, because by then I had learned how the system worked. On the 3rd day, I sat near the front row. I could see Sai Baba much more clearly. His expressions, his hand gestures, his eyes. At one moment, he made eye contact with me, just for a second, but that second changed my life, because in that gaze, there was love, pure, unconditional love. A look that saw me, knew me, accepted me, without judgment. That night, I cried quietly in the dormitory, making sure not to wake the others. But inside, something was breaking open. The guilt, the shame, the self-hatred I had carried for years. It felt like it was melting away. On the 5th day, Dr. Anjali told me, "Michael, tomorrow you might have the chance for an interview." Interview? What does that mean? Sometimes Sai Baba calls certain people into a private room. He speaks with them, gives advice. It's a very rare opportunity. I won't be chosen. You don't know. Maybe you will. On the 6th day, I sat very close to the front during darshan. When Sai Baba came, Dr. Anjali handed him a letter. The letter was about me, my story. Sai Baba took the letter. I don't know if he read it, but then he looked at me. He looked for a long time. Then he nodded his head slightly and said, "You come." My heartbeat quickened. Me? Was he calling me? A volunteer came. "Follow me," he said. We left the hall and went to a small interview room. Inside, there were 10 other people, men and women from different countries. A few minutes later, Sai Baba entered. He wasn't in a wheelchair. He was walking slowly, We all stood up. "Sit, sit," he said, his voice very gentle. First, he spoke with an Indian family. He listened to their problems and gave them advice. Then, with an Italian woman. Then, with a Japanese man. Then he turned to me. "You? From Canada?" "Yes, Swami," I said. "Swami, a respectful way to address a guru. What is your problem?" I didn't know what to say. How could I possibly explain my entire life story in just a few words? I was an addict. Drugs, alcohol. I lost everything, my family, my job, my home. "But now you are here," he said. "Yes." "Why are you here?" "I want to change. I want to be a better person." He looked at me for a long time. Then he reached out his hand. In his palm was vibhuti. I don't know where it came from. It felt as if it had materialized right there in that moment. "Take this," he said. "Put it on your forehead." I took the vibhuti and placed it on my forehead. In that instant, I felt something incredibly powerful, like electricity but not painful. Warmth, light, love, flowing through my whole body. Then Sai Baba placed his hand on my head. "You are free now, my child. Go home. Take care of your children." "Thank you, Swami," I said, tears streaming down my face. "No crying," he said with a smile. "This is a happy time. You are born again today." The interview lasted about 30 minutes. Then we all left the room. Everyone was in shock, but a happy kind of shock. Dr. Anjali was waiting for me. "What happened?" He spoke to me. He gave me vibhuti. He placed his hand on my head. "What did he say?" He said, "You are free now." And he said, "Take care of your children." Dr. Anjali began to cry. "Michael, this is a great blessing, very rare." From that day on, everything inside me changed. My desire to use drugs completely disappeared. Not reduced, gone completely. For the remaining 8 days, I attended every darshan. I didn't see Sai Baba up close again, but it didn't matter, because now I could feel his presence within me. December 10th, 2009. We returned to Toronto. At the airport, Karen from Hope House was waiting for me. "Michael, you look so different," she said. "I feel different," I replied. In February 2010, I completed the rehabilitation program. I called Melissa and we met at a cafe. "I've been clean for 8 months," I told her. "I want to prove it to you." She thought for a long time. "All right, but supervised visits, only with me present." The first visit was at a park. When Emma saw me, she ran toward me shouting, "Daddy!" I lifted her into my arms and cried. Months passed. Regular visits, couples therapy, slowly rebuilding trust. In July 2010, we remarried. Today it's 2024. I've been clean for 15 years. Emma is 20. Lucas is 17. Every morning I place vibhuti on my forehead and thank Sai Baba. In 2011, Sai Baba passed away. I cried a lot, but then I realized he left physically, but his teachings are still here. Today, I work as a volunteer at Hope House. I help new addicts who arrive there. If I could do it, you can too, I tell them. But first, you must forgive yourself. Telling this story hasn't been easy. But maybe someone out there is in a similar place. Maybe it can give them hope. One last word. If you are struggling with addiction right now, please don't give up. Help is out there. Recovery is possible. For me, it was Sai Baba. For you, it might be something else. But hope is always there. Sai Ram.